Good afternoon. For those of you who keep up with me, you know that one of my big passions is doTERRA essential oils. And the reason they are a big deal in my life is because they changed my life dramatically and helped me to overcome a very stressful and anxious period in my life. And they also dramatically changed my kids' life and kind of the direction. And so I wanted to hop on today because in the past week in my practice, I have seen so many people struggling with stress and anxiety and overwhelm. And although in my practice I have many homeopathic tools and nutrition supplement tools, my favorites that I use personally and that I often see the greatest results with are the essential oils. And so I wanted to go over four of my favorites really, and kind of share with you how I use them and why I choose these. So the first one, for those of you who know me well, it's going to be really boring because it's Melissa essential oil. Melissa oil is actually the oil that first got me hooked and reeled me into doTERRA and bringing them home into my life and starting to practice with them. And Melissa oil is well known in the herbal world as lemon balm, and it has a beautiful, beautiful chemistry that allows us to strengthen our inner light and our inner resolve. It is well known to help with feelings of loneliness or feelings of overwhelm. And so it's a great oil to use if you live in New England like I do, and it's in the middle of January, and you haven't seen the sun in a long time, although today the sun came out, so I'm grateful. But Melissa oil, phenomenal oil to use on a daily basis to really help open your heart and connect you back with the light of your being and your purpose. So my favorite way to use lemon balm or Melissa oil is to put it in a diffuser and also to put it on the roof of my mouth. So I just take the bottle, get my thumb wet, and then apply that essential oil to the roof of my mouth. Essential oils are potent. They are more potent than herbs. So, you know, it is strong, but it definitely opens up the pathways in the brain, and it gets right into the system and starts doing its work right away. So that's Melissa oil. My other favorite is actually a combination, or they can be used separately. But right now, I have peppermint oil and I have wild orange oil. Just use the rest of it, so there's no cap on this. In my diffuser, that's behind me. So here's my lovely diffuser. And it's a beautiful combination together to uplift the mood and to also calm the nervous system down. So you wouldn't necessarily think of wild orange as being an oil that calms the nervous system down because it's invigorating and refreshing. Peppermint oil also, right? It's very stimulating, and it helps to stimulate digestion and support digestion. However, individually and both together, these oils have a wonderful soothing effect and calming effect on the nervous system itself. So give them a try. Again, peppermint is that oil that can wake you up. So when you have to be alert for an exam, for example, in school, but you're really anxious and you feel overwhelmed or maybe jittery. I used to get really jittery and shaky before an exam in school. Peppermint oil, I wish I had it back then, can calm the nervous system by just applying a drop to the insides of your wrists or maybe behind the ears, or on the back of the neck, and it can really kind of get your heart rate in a better place because it's racing. Wild orange too is invigorating, so it can help stimulate the mental mind. So this is going to help me get through the afternoon slump here. But it's also going to calm my nervous system down as I try to move through my large to-do list that I still have left to do for the day, without getting overwhelmed and being able to prioritize and get right to task. So wild orange and peppermint, and these are really cost-effective oils to use as well, whereas Melissa is a little bit more pricey. The wild orange and the peppermint, again, individually or in combination, makes a fantastic tool to try as you are finding your way in reducing stress and that overwhelm and maybe that pressure on your chest and that uncomfortable feeling that you have. And then lastly, I want to talk about Adaptive. Adaptive is doTERRA's newer product, and it was released in October and highlighted in September at their national convention. And Adaptive is something that I started using every day. So this is the nutrition supplement. And this is a really unique formula because it combines the herbal botanicals. It has the herbal support in there of 2 flowers, as well as the essential oils themselves. Remember, we can take doTERRA essential oils internally, as I did the Melissa, and as I take the Adaptive capsule every morning. And the reason being is because doTERRA essential oils are pure, and they are they are sourced in places that help to maintain that purity. So we don't want to take any essential oil internally, but we can take doTERRA's, and we know when we can take something internally because it has a supplement facts label on the bottle. So if it doesn't have a supplement facts label, you want to think twice about taking it until you ask somebody who's familiar. But back to the Adaptive, the calming blend capsules. So it has the herbal support and it has the essential oil support. I like to take my capsule, you only need 1 a day typically, in the morning. So I notice when I don't take the capsule that I don't get as much accomplished. I might not be quite as focused, and I feel a little bit more overwhelmed throughout the day. So when I do take it and things come up in my day, as I'm sure they do in yours, it is much easier to stay calm, and my daughter would say that I don't yell as much, and just really be able to respond rather than react. So I absolutely love the addition of this Adaptive capsule into my daily routine of nutrition supplements to keep me healthy and well. The other thing that I carry around with me now is the Adaptive Touch. So this is a roller blend of essential oils, and I keep it with me all the time, and I can rub it on the insides of my wrist, and one of my favorite places is the back of the neck. It really smells quite lovely, and so I keep this with me in the car, and I keep it with me wherever I go, because it really does help to calm me down, calm the nervous system down when there's a lot of overwhelm. I'm not somebody, because I feel energy and I feel the energy of all people that I come into contact with. It's hard for me to be in crowds. It's challenging sometimes for me to be at the grocery store. It's definitely challenging for me to go to a school. So the Adaptive for me really helps me to feel more comfortable in my own skin. It helps me to tune into what is my own energy versus the energy of somebody else's. So it really helps to keep the muscle tension in my body in check. I used to have a lot of chronic pain, and a lot of that chronic pain is relative to the amount of stress and tension that I held in those muscles. And so the Adaptive calming blend in the Touch formula is something that, again, I carry with me every day, and I use it very often to help to support me and my response to stress. And so lastly, what I want to share with you is that it's our response to stress, both physiologically and emotionally and mentally, that makes a big difference in our overall health. So when we do not respond to stress well, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally, our physical body takes a huge brunt. It takes a huge hit. So our immune system drops by 60%. So that's big. So if you're going into a crowded area and the flu is, off the charts in the state of New Hampshire right now, and you're stressed by being in that environment, you're going to be more susceptible to colds and flus. So I use the adaptive for that reason as well. But most importantly, as we age, we want to do it gracefully. We want to do it in a way that preserves our physical body and our mental body, and of course supports us emotionally. And when we adapt to stress, the change in environment, when we adapt to stress on our physical body from not eating well or perhaps studying long hours, if we have support that helps our body to adapt in that physiological way, we will slow the aging process. We will lessen our incidence of autoimmune disease. We will have less inflammation in our body. We will have better brain function, better nervous system function, and ultimately better sleep. And sleep is one of those critical, important pieces when we are trying to stay well. So those are my top 3 that I have for you today in terms of managing and looking at stress. So just to review, we've got Melissa oil. And as an added bonus, Melissa is a huge antiviral. So it's something that I use on the roof of my mouth, as I showed you earlier in this video, every single day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. It helps to strengthen my inner immune system, and it also helps me to connect to my light and my purpose. It's a great oil if you're affected by seasonal affective disorder, if you struggle through the winter time. Melissa oil is worth every penny. If you are interested in getting some and don't have it in home, reach out to me. I'm happy to send you a sample. And then we have peppermint oil and wild orange, and I expressed that I like to use them together. They're a great formula together. You can put a drop on the palm of your hands. I have it in my diffuser right now. It's going to help me get through that afternoon lull where I want to reach for a cookie and I'm not going to. So it has a great support system for our endocrine system, all the glands in our body. It supports our nervous system, and it does it without putting us to sleep. It actually keeps us alert, awake, and ready. And then lastly, the adaptive. The adaptive is brand new formula, and I think we're going to see a lot more of doTERRA combining the botanical herbal support that we're very used to in our communities with the support of the essential oils, because it truly is superior support. It allows us to integrate these 2 medicines from the earth, if you will, these 2 elements from the earth, and really feel supported by them. And the adaptive comes in both a capsule form and then it comes in this roll-on form. And regardless of what you do, many of you know that I am a big advocate for meditation. It's something that I wish I had learned when I was a young girl, and I didn't learn it until I was an adult. And I'm a really big advocate of meditation, and there's so many different ways and forms of meditating, so it can be fun. It doesn't have to be boring. But that's a great tool as well. So even if you're not interested in using essential oils in your life, the key is, how do I adapt to stress? How do I find a way to recognize how I'm responding to stress in my life so that I can preserve the health that I have and maybe even bring it to the next level. So again, I mentioned that if you're looking for some samples to give these a try in your own life, please do reach out. I'm happy to share them. Again, they changed my life, as did meditation, and I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Patty, Cassandra, Carrie, Alyssa, thanks so much for being here and allowing me to share my knowledge and my passion with you. Have a great rest of your evening.